When it comes to Ragnaroks, caves play a major role in building, so we proudly present Top 25 Best Caves on Ragnarok Ascended. Coming at number 25, this can be found at 40.2 latitude and 62.9 longitude. Then there it is on the map. Now this is known as the Arctic Cave. Now I'm not really going to scale these caves based off if they're like good for PvP or not, just kind of showing all of the caves on the map, but just know it technically is ranked from worst to best, just being on like how the caves are, how they're laid out, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is starting from worst, and then number 1 is basically the best cave. So yeah, anyways, we first up have this cave. It's just more of a long kind of hallway, if that makes sense. There's not really a lot of room to work with in here. But yeah, it's in a pretty decent area if you want to live in the Arctic. But if you're going to live in here maybe on PvE, I would personally just live on the ice above it. But yeah, it still is a pretty nice cave if you're looking to build in here. I mean, it's very, very long, so you do have a good amount of base room. But yeah, not the best. Anyways, let's get on to the next one. This video is sponsored by Mitra 9. Mitra 9 is a kava and kratom seltzer company which provides an alternative to alcohol. These drinks give you a high but without the impairment. They have a ton of great flavors, my favorite being tropical. If you're looking for a new drink to replace your coffee in the morning, Mitra is the way to go. Simply go to mitra9.com and use my code Outcasts and you will get 25% off your entire order. Now, back to the video. Coming at number 24, this can be found at 31.0 latitude and 38.0 longitude. Then there it is on the map. Now this is technically not a cave that you can build in, but this is the Ice Queen cave. So it has basically just a bunch of really decent loot drops in this first area. And then the really, really good loot drops are after you kill the boss. So yeah, I figured I would just toss it in for some new players who don't really know about this cave. But yeah, it's not a buildable cave, but just looking for some pretty good loot. It does have about 4 spawns in this just first room. And then you got the Ice Queen, which is down there in that little layer back there. And then coming up next, we have the Lava Golem, which can be found at 18.5 latitude and 27.8 longitude. And yeah, this cave entrance can be found right over here. They did revamp it a little bit, but it still is about the same. But there is another way in, which I found interesting. I don't remember there being a second entrance in, but there actually is one, which is pretty cool. So yeah, you just basically have to go through this giant maze. And yeah, it's kind of a bit of a pain to do. But once you get into the very back, then you can fight the Lava Golem. I'm not going to show you guys exactly how to fight them in this video. That's a separate video. But yeah, just figured I would toss them in this video for now. Coming at number 23, this can be found at 79.0 latitude and 44.5 longitude. And then there it is on the map. Now this is known as the Wyvern Cove cave, because the Wyvern Cove is pretty much directly underneath this. But this cave is a pretty nice PvE cave, I'll just say that. I know I wasn't going to really, talk about all that. But, I mean, if you're looking to build in a kind of a cool central area, it has a couple different entrances, one big entrance, and then a pretty small one over there. But your hardest part is just going to be trying to keep wyverns out, so you're going to have a couple turrets on wild creatures, or just like some Plan X or something, just to kind of keep them out. But, it does make for a pretty decent PvE cave, so yeah, if you're looking for that, pretty good for that. Coming at number 22, this can be found at 41.3 latitude and 42.3 longitude. Then here it is on the map. Now this one can be found directly in the canyons. A lot of you guys should know this cave. It's just that cave that had really good potential, and it's just like they kind of gave up on it. It has a pretty decent entrance, has a nice little water area inside, but it's just not that big. It's lacking just a lot of stuff. I really wish that they kind of like revamped a bunch of the caves. But yeah, this one definitely could have, had a really, really good like glow up, and then this would have been a pretty decent cave. But yeah, not the best. Coming in number 21, this can be found at 55.2 latitude and 57.0 longitude. Then there it is on the map. Now this can be found over in the desert. This is like the desert waterfall, which is known as Crystal Cave. Now this cave isn't really too big. It's more of just kind of a small, medium-sized one. But technically, if you're on PvP, this technically could work for you. It's just going to be a bit of a pain to try to defend, but it's a pretty good like early on cave. Coming at number 20, this can be found at 35.4 latitude and 24.1 longitude. Then there it is on the map. Now this cave isn't really a decent, you can build in here, yes, but if you do find this, it's going to be hidden off with rocks, and you're going to have to mine these rocks out. But this is more of just like a metal resource farm. They did change it quite a bit on ASA, and they just added a bunch of water in here, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is much bigger. So if you're looking to build in a nice little hidden area, this one does kind of work. Coming at number 19, this can be found at 26.4 latitude and 26.9 longitude. Then there it is on the map. Now this one can be found right over here. It's not really an amazing cave, I'm not going to lie, but I figured that I would toss it on here just to kind of try and get almost every cave on the map on this video. I think I missed like 1 or 2, but yeah. So it's nothing too crazy. You do have some room in here. It's just very tight and very compact. Coming in number 18, this can be found at 26.4 latitude and 26.9 longitude. Then there it is on the map. Now this one can be found right over in the desert area, and this is formerly known as one of the best metal spawns and just like metal farms on the map. They nerfed this area quite a bit, but there still is a good amount of metal. So if you're looking to farm metal, this does make for a pretty decent farming area, and it does actually make for an okay base spot. It does have 2 entrances though, so you can't really defend this on a PvP server, but yeah. Coming at number 17, this can be found at 59.1 latitude and 58.4 longitude. Then there it is on the map. Now this is one of the desert it's like the canyon region of the desert, and this is more of like an open style cave. It's not really a crazy cave, at least not that I could find. I don't know, they might have changed something on here, but it does have a pretty open up area. But if you're looking at building a pretty cool, very just different like styled cave, this is definitely one for you. It just has a lot of water in here, so trying to defend it's not going to be that easy, I'm just going to be honest. Coming at number 16, this can be found at 18.1 latitude and 79.0 longitude. Now, this is Highlands Cave, and unfortunately, they absolutely butchered this cave. They had the potential to make this an amazing cave, and instead they added water outside, so now people can just raft raid it. It does kind of suck, but I mean, you can still live in here and defend it pretty well, but it's just not big enough to really be worth it anymore. So yeah, adding water definitely killed Highlands. Coming at number 15, this can be found at 52.0 latitude and 47.9 longitude. And this would pretty much be found directly in the middle of the map. Now again, this is another cave that I was really hoping for that they would have hopefully changed and made this a lot bigger, but they just didn't. It just still sucks. It's just this tiny little cave, like it's kind of like a horseshoe shaped. And man, they really just messed up with this cave. Like, come on guys, like I don't know. I really wanted something with this cave. Coming at number 14, this can be found at 24.7 latitude and 26.7 longitude. And then we have this cave. Now this is more of like an open style cave, so not really a PvP spot, but some cool little things about this. They did make this one quite a bit bigger, and it's also a really good fishing spot, which I'll show you here in a second. But yeah, it has 3 main entrances in here, which does kind of suck, but on PvE, it still is actually a pretty cool spot. And then here's your fishing spot right down here at the bottom. There's some pretty big fish down here. Coming at number 13, this can be found at 30.0 latitude and 33.8 longitude. Then there it is on the map. Now this cave is again another pretty big open cave, but it has a lot of very valuable things in here. It has oil, crystal, metal, penguins, dire bears, crystal. I think I just said crystal, my bad. But it is very open, so building in here is not really ideal. But if you're looking to farm a good amount of just everything, definitely come over to this cave. It's pretty big and it just has everything, including there's a little patch of penguins right there. Coming at number 12, this can be found at 34.3 latitude and 78.9 longitude, and this one can be found over in the Redwoods. Now this is one of the Redwoods caves. I was really hoping that they would have added maybe a new Redwoods area out here. That would have been honestly pretty cool, but they didn't. It still is about the same shape. It's a little bit different in here, but it's still roughly about the same. It's more of just a giant passageway. I mean, you can live in here, just I personally wouldn't. Coming at number 11, this can be found at 23.1 latitude and 86.5 longitude. Then there it is on the map. Now this is known as the Wyvern Cave, and this can be found pretty much directly under the lighthouse area over in Highlands. They really did change this one up quite a bit. I just really wish that they got rid of the water in here, because if you're able to build up high with no water, it would have been pretty overpowered. Coming in number 10, this can be found at 21.8 latitude and 42.0 longitude. Then there it is on the map. Now this is more known as like kind of an artifact cave. There's no big rooms in here. It's just a very long cave. So if you do want to defend this, I mean, by all means, it's definitely a little overpowered with the amount of turret spam that you can do in here, but it is so narrow and there's not enough really room to like build in here that I personally wouldn't. I mean, you have enough room for like indie forges, replicators and stuff in the far back, even right here, but I don't know, it's just kind of a very awkward cave. This one is more kind of meant as just a PvE spot to just go and get your artifact, maybe farm some dinos. But they did change it quite a bit with all these little mushrooms back here. And yeah, it does open up a little bit more than it used to. But in my honest opinion, I mean, it still isn't great. Like, that's your main room right there. But yeah, overall, I mean, not a horrible cave, but yeah. Coming at number 9, this can be found at 22.7 latitude and 31.0 longitude. And this is known as Viking Bay Cave. Pretty much everybody on Ragnarok, who's ever played Ragnarok, knows about this cave. This is Viking Bay Cave. It's nothing too crazy. They did change it up a little bit in here, but as an early on spot, it is not a bad spot to build in. But I permanently would not live in here because you have water, which means people can just easily raft raid you. So yeah, kind of a bit of a downside there. And coming at number 8, this can be found at 17.4 latitude and 42.9 longitude. And then here it is on the map. Now this is known as Castle Cave. Technically it's not fully Castle Cave, but I mean, I don't know, I forget the name of this one. And this is the biggest difference for any cave on Ragnarok. They actually put detail in here, because if you guys, know it back on Ragnarok ASE, it was completely plain, pitch black, you couldn't see anything, it was a horrible cave. They completely just revamped this entire thing. It's absolutely massive now. You have a lot of room to work with in here, and it does have 2 entrances technically, which is the castle, but if you can defend these 2, oh wait, no, sorry, it has 3 because of a water entrance. But I mean, if you can defend all 3 of them, I'm not gonna lie, it wouldn't be a horrible base. But yeah, here's your main room back here, and it just keeps going. It keeps going. I didn't even get all of it in the video. That's how big that this cave is. So if you're looking to build on a pretty massive cave, this is probably the best new one that actually got like truly just updated in like a TLC. Coming at number 7, this can be found at 45.2 latitude and 34.7 longitude. And then there it is on the map. Now this is known as, I forget the name of this one again, it's like a pass-through cave right by the griffin spawns. It's pretty close to Green Ob as well. This one didn't really change too much, they kind of nerfed it, I'm gonna be honest. They just added too many pillars in here, which means you can't defend it if you're trying to build in here, but it's still a pretty good PvE spot. Coming at number 6, this can be found at 20.5 latitude and 29.3 longitude. Then there it is on the map. Now this is a cave that a lot of people just instantly just overlook, but it's actually kind of a decent spot. So you have this very tiny entrance, and it opens up into a pretty medium-sized area. This is your first room right here. It's a little hard to see. Sorry for the fog. I wasn't able to turn that off for some reason. It just got very, very foggy in here. But yeah, here's your second room right here. So it's nothing too crazy, but if you're a smaller tribe looking to get a good start, I would recommend building in here. Coming at number 5, this can be found at 85.9 latitude and 51.5 longitude, and this is known as one of the desert caves. Now, I may be mistaken, but I think that they got rid of the second entrance. I cannot find that entrance anywhere. I might just be completely blind, but if this technically does not have that second entrance, this is going to probably be like at number 2 on this list. I looked for a good minute and I could not find a second entrance on here, but this cave is a lot more overpowered now, if that is true, because that second entrance is usually like right here, but yeah, I couldn't find it. Coming in number 4, this can be found at 19.6 latitude and 65.3 longitude, and this is known as Lava Cave. Lava Cave has always been a pretty decent spot. However, I mean, with all the extra stuff that's been added onto ARK over the years, it's not as good as it used to be. It still isn't a bad spot, I'm not gonna lie, because it has lava in here. People are not able to just like rocket run you. So technically, I mean, it still is a nice overpowered spot. I just wish that it was a little bit bigger. If it was a little bit bigger, this thing would have been a lot more overpowered. But they really didn't change this one like at all. They left it almost identical to the last one, just with better lighting. Coming at number 3, this can be found at 13.5 latitude and 25.4 longitude. Then here it is on the map. Now this is one of the 2 underwater caves that I can find. I don't remember there being any other underwater caves. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but I believe there's only 2 or maybe 3. But yeah, this is one of the underwater caves, and I don't remember this one being this big. It feels different. Like, I feel like this used to have 2 entrances, but it got buffed a decent amount, at least I believe so. I haven't really played on Rag in a while. It's been a good minute. But yeah, this cave is pretty big, I'm not gonna lie. The entrance is a bit big though, so trying to defend that's gonna be a little tricky. But if you're up for the challenge, I would highly recommend it, as this is a pretty phenomenal cave to live in. Coming at number 2, this can be found at 27.9 latitude and 47.5 longitude. Then there it is on the map. And now this is known as Triple Waterfall. Everybody that is watching this video, unless you're new to ARK, should know exactly what this cave is. This used to be one of the best spots on ARK, and it still is a decent spot, it's just not as great as it used to be. They didn't really change too much about this, they just made it a little bit more flat, added a little bit more detail in here, but other than that, it's pretty much about the same, which is good. I mean, it still is a pretty great cave. Just it having 2 entrances is still kind of a downside with this spot. But yeah, here's your other entrance, it's just a little bit bigger, harder to defend. And finally, coming at number 1, this can be found at 10.3 latitude and 23.5 longitude, and this is known as Mushroom Cave. This is still one of the most popular spots on ARK to this day, and is actually still a pretty great spot. And guess what? They actually buffed this spot. They nerfed they got rid of the giant just open area down below, so you're actually able to build properly in here. But yeah, anyways, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. Don't forget to leave a like if you're new, and hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.